This is Daybreak. Thank you for staying with us. The hashtag on X is Citizen Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. Kithinji Kiragu, CPA, is the chairperson of the Intergovernmental Relations and Technical Committee. He joins us here on the broadcast this morning, as well as Wilson Sosion, the former Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General and nominated MP, and Wajir County Governor Ahmed Abdullahi, who is joining us from Wajir County, who is as well the chairperson of the Council of Governors, joining us from County 008. Gentlemen, thanks for your time. Let's focus our attention on the recent statement that was issued by the Controller of Budget that had said the county government's mandate only extends to pre-primary education, village polytechnics and homecraft centres, saying that the devolved units should stop the withdrawal of funds for bursary schemes covering primary, secondary and tertiary education. Yesterday, governors here in the county of Nairobi had expressed their concern and the dilemma that they face. And first we begin with the chairperson of the Council of Governors. Good morning, Governor Ahmed, and thanks for making time for this broadcast. Then what happens regarding the statement issued by your office yesterday, and how will this dilemma be resolved, given that the allocations have already been done?
Good morning, Ayub, and good morning to all the panelists and the viewers watching us. Ayub, as you've noted, the Education and the Legal Committee of the Council of Governors had a joint session yesterday where they discussed this matter and looked at options available to us as a council, because this is really not about governors. This is about kids who are in school, who are being supported by the county government, who have a legitimate expectation. It's about budgets that were subjected to public participation, and the citizenry know in each of these counties what it is they expect of their county government in terms of support for bursaries this financial year. So this advisory or instructions coming from the COG, from the Office of the Controller of Budget, midstream in the budget cycle this financial year, is disruptive. And we're looking at all options, including engaging and asking for more time to look at this matter in a more structured, consultative and collaborative way. And I had a lengthy conversation yesterday with the controller, and she's open to that. We do not disrupt the ongoing fiscal year. And then between now and when the next budgeting cycle happens, we sort out this through the existing intergovernmental structures. So that's one of the options. And we hope to take that to IBEC on the 27th of this month, where a lot of the other stakeholders will be represented. Governors also, should that not yield the results that they expect, are looking at also an interpretation of the law, because our contention is that bursaries really is more of a social welfare protection intervention, not so much a distinct function of either levels of government, because ordinarily, in the wider scheme of things, parents, if they have the capability, would pay fees for their kids. That they need support, that makes it a social welfare intervention, program. Okay. So these are the options we are looking at. We will engage all the stakeholders in a structured way, but that this was abrupt and it just came unexpectedly, was in itself disruptive, because there are counties that have actually submitted or had submitted their request for release of bursary funds, okay, which was not granted. But we're trying to solve this in that manner. And I think we just need to also clarify, what protection counties have in the budgeting process, because these budgets were approved, by the controller. That this just comes abruptly is an issue. We also now, as you know, have an issue with the CARA, which has been taken to court by the Speakers Forum. All these things are disruptive. And we've already had a bad year from a budgetary perspective because of the delays occasioned by the Gen Z, demonstrations and the reversal of the, cancellation of the finance bill, which then led to a delay in enactment of the County Allocation of Revenue Act. This was just finalized just before Christmas, as you know. To date, the County Additional Allocations Act, which covers, all the monies that counties get outside of the equitable share, is not enacted. The mediations collapsed between the Senate and the National Assembly, and we are at the end of January.
Okay.
The financial year is coming to a close in a couple of months. So we're asking questions about why is it that the county's budgetary system is not insulated? We believe it's insulated in law.
Thank you,
but there's a lot of disruption.
Okay, we'll expound more on that because the issue is that there was the mediation team from the National Assembly and the Senate, which was put in place regarding the shareable revenue. But Chairperson, coming to you, the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee that you chair offered to resolve the standoff, which was prompted by the directive issued by the Control of Budget. How has that progressed in the midwifing of the bringing together of the parties that are involved?
Thank you very much. We are in touch with all the parties. The first thing I would like to say is that what the chairperson of the Council of Governors has said, I completely agree with whatever he has said. These are part of the major challenges we have in this. We are still in the transition period to getting devolution properly in place. We have yet to really consolidate. We have yet to institutionalize devolution the way the Constitution intended it. And therefore, I can associate myself with all the issues he has raised.
That's 14 years after we promulgated Katiba, is it?
Yes, because of course these things are partly political and therefore they take longer than we intended. But on that note also, and of course also the Controller of Budget made an interpretation of the Constitution, which in terms of what she stated, that is exactly what the Constitution says. But in terms of then of interpretation, there can be different interpretations in terms of whether bursary is a function or is a social welfare intervention by the county government, as the Council of Governors says. But I think the critical point on this particular subject is that children need bursaries. There is no doubt about it. Those of us who are engaged in our communities, we know that the bursaries are needed. And the next question is, who has money to give the children, the school children at the moment? It looks like the governors are ready with the money. The national government is not ready. And of course, the reason why the governors have gone into it is because the problems are clearly there locally, and they see the need to intervene. Obviously, again, it is not like the national government doesn't give bursaries through the members of parliament. The national government also gives bursaries, but neither of the two is actually adequate in many places. So the need is even more than what is available at the moment.
Okay.
I say that because, we are in our communities and we see ourselves trying to help children to go to school, that even after the bursaries have been done, you are still being approached to help families to take children to school. And you can see the real needs of those families.
All right.
Therefore, the bursaries are needed. And at the moment, as I would say, they are not adequate. So it is just as well that whatever is available needs to be made available to the students. Okay. It is true that I think at the moment, we cannot have this situation where what is already available is not being dispersed to the students.
Okay, we'll talk about the Exchequer, delayed releases from the Exchequer when even schools reopened early this month, and the National Treasury admitting to that, and also the communique issued by the Ministry of Education, and also the unbundling of the functions that we'll be talking about, given that we are now 14 years since we promulgated Katiba.
Just to make one concluding statement, therefore, I think we should move, all parties, the COB, should move expeditiously in consultation with the governors to agree that the bursaries which are available now should be dispersed to the students who need them now.
Yeah.
You know, there is no time to lose.
Yeah. And is that a point that you will bring up when you bring the parties together, that as the Council of Governors chairperson mentions this, I mean, he said that, for example, the county budgets were approved by the Controller of Budget. How comes then this is cropping up suddenly? Is it a matter that you will pick up with her office?
It can be, but actually that is not the more fundamental issue. The more fundamental issue is the need that there is at the moment for those children to go to school. Okay. That is the most immediate point. It overrides all the legalities and so on of the whole issue. And what I would say is that we are in touch also with the Controller of Budget really for the cases that there is need to, for the time being, to agree. Nothing is neat in terms of the functions because if the national government is doing county government functions. Okay,
we'll talk about the functions and the bundle of what remains, given that we have had the formula of funds following the functions. Mwalimu Sosion, what then happens in the immediate term to the most vulnerable, the needy students? Governor George Natembeya, Trans Nzoia County, said, if this stops, certainly then I am concerned about 26,000 dependents under that scheme.
Actually, that should not stop, and we cannot react to a statement by the Controller of Budget and engage in catastrophes. I think what you are faced with is a quagmire of interpretation of the Constitution insofar as roles are concerned. And I think to this point and to this end, we need proper conversation between the national government, together with the Ministry of Education and county government, to clarify the relationship of the two levels of government in relation to education. And I dare say the quality of legislation to implement devolved functions with respect to education and what national government is doing is not clear. And that was even identified by Kenya Kwanza administration, that probably we need even to look at how we can admit the county governments to be able to finance the schools' infrastructure. So Ayub, I think when we were making the Constitution of Kenya 2010, remember the WACO draft in 05, education was fully devolved, including teachers. And teachers voted down the Kilifi draft. And in 2010, we negotiated the contentious items. One of them was education. And we insisted that education must be nationalized. It must remain a national function. But that was insofar as employment of teachers was concerned. One. Two, the curriculum. Of course, county governments, they have the mandate over the ECD, but they don't design the curriculum. The curriculum is designed by the national government and other national policies governing education, both at the counties and national. There's still national function. So I think it is a matter of clarity, and some legislation is needed. Okay. I dare say from where I come from and how we negotiated, our intention was not to block anybody from participating in bursary, not even to block the county government. And if you look at the fourth schedule of the Constitution, the fourth schedule does not bar county governments from participating in bursary programs. It doesn't. And if it doesn't, then county governments that come up with county legislation to implement the same and to allocate the same are actually right and fair and square. Number two.
Yes, just hang on to number two. When we get back from the break, I'll allow you to proceed and also bring in CPA Kithinji and the governor who is joining us from the county of Wajir, the Council of Governors chairperson, and the statement they issued yesterday. We'll be having the sound bites of the governors who as well expressed their concerns and the uncertainties that they face given the dilemma following the circular that was issued by the controller of budget a fortnight ago. You're watching Daybreak. Thanks for staying with us. The hashtag on X is Citizen Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. We are back with more after the break. Stay tuned.